The second poster is adjusted intangibility-aware assessment. I won't try to read the whole title. Professor Ligor Guinda and Marta Ziva. Is there any of them press? Oh, there it is. Good to see you. How do I unmute Professor Guinda? Here.
Well, he can't talk because he has it. Oh, there you go now.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
Yes,
hi.
yes.
Meet you in a good shape. I wish you all the best.
Thank
you. Can I share presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a...
yeah. Is it? Yes, and
7 minutes to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a rather complicated title. You know, we got some problems with formulation, but the real title is How Different Are Polish Regions with Regard to the Biogas Plant Technology Application Potential. So this is a very important topic and current topic in Poland now. This is because we are trying to get rid of fossil fuels and replace them with renewable energy when it is only possible.
Excuse me. I guess you should open your poster because we're not seeing the poster. We're seeing the files.
Yes, but I think it will be better. Okay. The presentation. Oh. So there is the problem. Because despite the fact that there are a lot of resources, natural resources, waste resources that can be used for producing energy instead of fossil fuels out of waste and wood, for example, this is evident problem with real realization of this potential. So this is why we tried to use AHP just to identify which gaps appear in different, in the case of different regions in Poland. Why they are so differentiated with regard to using that potential. And another contribution would be with regard to the way the results of AHP are in reality are interpreted in reality. So AHP is generally intangibility aware technique. So it expresses intangibility by means of approximate assessments. And when it comes to the results, they are mainly interpreted as real numbers, you know, the hard numbers, exact numbers. So this is a kind of a contradiction. So we also tried to make some enhancement to the AHP methodology to make it possible to get rid of this contradiction. So Poland consists of 16 regions, and those regions should use actual potential with regard to green energy or renewable energy, which results from wastes and wastes from domestic purposes or waste from agriculture. And there are also some factors that inhibit it. So population density potential is the factor because it deals with a lack of enough place to locate biogas plants. So we have made some a kind of pre-processing of available data with regard to actual potential using DeMattel method, and then it turned out that the most important factors are the following ones with regard to the possibility of assessing the real potential of Polish regions with regard to the possibility of the application of biogas plant technology and developing these applications. And to reduce the excessive number of the alternatives, as I said before, Poland consists of 16 voivodeships, so 16 regions. We also use some one-dimensional clustering based on actual data with regard to agricultural area, with regard to the population density, and it allowed us to obtain just 9 or less alternatives to deal with. And then using this data, we were able to divide Polish regions into not more than 9 clusters, and those clusters were compared using pairwise comparisons. You should note that there are different clusters because of different parts of or different components of the potential. They are different in different regions. So we've made AHP analysis. We have obtained results with regard to partial results with regard to distinct kinds of potential. We also used the assumption about the relative importance of different factors, of those 3 factors that we took into consideration. And as you can see, the population density appears the most important. Why? This is because there are real problems with finding places for such investments, like biogas plants, which are assessed as not so good to be alongside by citizens, for example. So this is why this factor appeared the most important one. So this these are different colors. Okay, so I have made wrong illustrations. Yes, sorry. The right ones are in the poster. Sorry for that. Nevertheless, using the enhancement to AHP results interpretations, we obtained some classes of regions, as you can see on the right side of this slide. So the regions were divided into 7 distinct classes according to synthetic evaluation obtained by means of AHP application. So a word about it. Is it too long?
Yeah, I think you should wrap up in 1 minute.
Okay. Can I have the presentation? Yeah. Because it's I don't know how to change, because I can see you only, not the
you want me to share the presentation?
Yes. For a minute. Okay. So that's a disaster. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, so those are good figures. And the main idea is to use some kind of idea that appears in VICOR methodology, where you can discriminate the top alternatives using a kind of discrimination threshold. So this is a part of VICO methodology that we use to obtain those classes with regard to the potential, and then the same way was applied to obtain the classes of regions with regard to actual exploitation of the potential, and comparing both results, we can identify, for example, regions where there are visible problems. So they need urgent help, for example. So that's for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the next presentation. And the next presentation, we will have questions at the end. The next presentation is hospital aircraft in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Who's going to present this?
Me, Professor Igor Pinheiro.
Okay.
Can I share my screen?
Please.
Okay. Good afternoon. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Igor Pinheiro. I'm a Brazilian Naval officer and post-graduation student from Fluminense Federal University, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. First of all, I'd like to congratulate and thank you the organizing committee. It's my first international presentation, so I apologize for my for possible mistakes, because in Brazil it's not so common and present papers in English, but I'll try. In this paper, we proposed an application of multi-methodology using value-focused thinking for structure the problematic situation concerned the COVID-19 in Brazil. And in order to evaluate the alternatives and criteria, we applied AHP. So I prefer show only images, because in my opinion, it's easier to understand what we propose in this paper. So first of all, explaining the problematic situation, coronavirus pandemic has threatened the public healthcare system in Brazil and worldwide, and causing lack of beds, lack of respirators and protection equipment, mainly in third world country, if I can use this term. And for understand and structure this problem, we used the VFT method proposed by Ralph-Keeney in 1992. And in this method, we have to define firstly the values or objectives. So after using this PSM problem structure method to understand the situation, we defined the criteria and alternatives. So we defined reach, cost, length, and after consult to public health experts, we found that a use of hospital aircraft or airplaning in aeromedical evacuation and transporting people and protection equipment, it was a good solution for our problem. Explaining what we, how can I say, explaining the history of this paper. This paper was published in IEEE, applying a method developed by my research group. So in order to verify the reliability of the results, we applied to AHP, and the results were very similar. The method applied first in the first step was my final work post-graduation product. So we are proposing this method And in order to verify if the method is or not reliable, we apply to ISAHP because it's the most used multi-criteria method in the world. And the result was very similar with the legacy 450 chosen by the most suitable aircraft to be acquired by the Brazilian government to be available to the population and use it in aerometric evacuations and other applications against the COVID-19. So concluding, even with the cooling of the pandemic, these hospital aircraft could continue to be used in humanitarian aid to poorer countries. Last month, a Brazilian aircraft was used helping Venezuela, Ecuador, and other poor countries in the fight against the pandemic. We highlight that the VFT and ISAHP methods proved to be efficient for the proposed analysis because only the use of one multi-criteria method sometimes is not the best option to understand and structure the problem of the best way. Obtaining the weights of criteria and evaluation of alternatives were made by specialists, and the decision-making process were more transparent and reliable. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. One more time, I thank for everyone.
Well, we also thank you for participating in this meeting. Thank you very much. And our last poster is applications of the analytic hierarchy process method in forecasting. A review of the literature, Cristina Oliveira, Bruna Scardelli, and Dr. Claudius Luis Piratelli. So who's going to present this? Lidiane Oliveira. Would you please unmute your microphone?
Hello. Code my prophecy, adverse.
Yes, okay.
Okay, sorry about the trouble. The main objective of this research was to identify, describe, and analyze scientific articles that use ISAHP for forecasting. For this, a research was carried out on Web of Science and Scopus database, and 70 articles were found. It was found that 82% of forecast studies applying the ISAHP as support for decision making, with the objectives of pondering, prioritizing information, classifying products, and select the best medical forecasting model. The applications of ISAHP in demand forecast were shipping costs, development of new products, hospitality, water consumption, environmental pollution, electricity consumption, urban traffic, development of underground space of railway stations, and for the management of spare parts. On the other hand, 17% of the studies combined ISAHP with other time series forecasting with application in hospitality and electricity consumptions. And as a conclusion, it was found that from 1987 to now, one by mean article per year was found relating to forecast with ISAHP. So it's not there is still a gap to explore ISAHP as an appropriate tool for forecasting in many other areas. such as fashion, products of textile industry. It's this area is a lead gen project. That's it. If you have any question, you can send by chat.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologize by the problem we have here to present our screen.
That's fine. I think we were able to follow your presentation. Thank you very much. So let's see, are there any questions? Any questions? You can post it in the chat, or actually you can go ahead and speak. Well, I have a question in the first presentation about for Professor Guinda. In the first presentation about the location of sites for gas plants, is this a government sponsored project? Is this something that is being done as part of a government policy?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so this paper was devoted to the actual political problem, a kind of political problem, because the Polish government wanted to have 2,000 those plants, and only 100 emerged. So that was why we tried to make contribution to the general discussion on causes of this situation, and we wanted to try to identify the most important factors that rule this problem, and to help local authorities, for example, to fight the problem with the lack of ability to locate those plants.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just have a sort of a comment, or maybe it's a question. I'm not quite sure what forecasting means. In a sense, every decision that you make using AHP is something that's going to happen in the future. So you're sort of forecasting in just any simple application. So how do you decide what the forecasting papers are? How do you, what's the thing that sticks out about them that says, oh, this is about forecasting, as opposed to just the general run of AHP models?
Okay. So this wasn't really forecasting. Yeah, it was rather the kind of detailed, how to call it, diagnostic of the problem at hand. You know, because we tried to assess actual potential that the different regions have with regard to the possibility of the diffusion of biogas plants, and we compared it with real results of those efforts. And it turned out that the results are disastrous with regard to the actual potential of some regions that have a very wide agricultural sector, for example, so a lot of bio waste, for example.
Oh, I'm sorry, Giors. I think that my question got addressed to you when I
Okay.
actually
Oh, yeah.
intended it for the previous, but I completely understand what you're saying here.
I can
get
answer
it.
any question you ask, you know? Okay. Thanks.
Okay. And yeah, we still have time for just one more question. And my question goes to Igor Piñero. You made a point that the AHP having used with this value-focused thinking approach. And if I understood correctly, you had also tried a different approach. I'm not sure whether without using AHP or without using value-focused thinking. But my question is did you find any kind of advantage or convenience of using AHP along with value-focused thinking in comparison to other decision-making methods?
If I understood, so you can see if I found more studies using this multi-methodology or not.
If you find that AHP was particularly suited for value-focused thinking or not, why AHP?
Yes, the value-focused thinking is a problem structure method. So it's used for understand the problematic situation to define the alternatives, criteria. And so it's the first step to the decision-making process. And in order to define the data to be evaluated, we use this method. And the AHP is the, how can I say, the second step to evaluate the alternatives and provide a result to or a solution to solve the problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much to everybody, the presenters, also the participants, and this concludes day one of our international symposium. Thank you very much. Have a very good rest of the day.
Thanks to you, Enrique.
Thank you, Enrique.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a nice night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.